Welcome to the Story-Eyed Podcast. My name is Brendan.
And I'm Jen. On this show, we talk about all things Williams syndrome. We're excited to share our community with you. Thanks for being here.
Do you like having 4 seasons of, or would you rather just kind of it be more warm all the time?
Yep, I don't want it to be like hot, crazy hot, but yeah, I don't need snow. I like rain. Rain's fine. Yeah. I'm good with rain. It could be a little chillier. The hardest thing, though, that I've heard, because I'm from Colorado, so I don't know, I've never lived anywhere for an extended period of time other than Colorado. The hardest thing, I think, for me might be the sunshine, because we do get a lot of sunshine here in Colorado. So I think I would like to live somewhere warmer. That is definitely like my long-term plan, but I don't know if that always equates to sunshine.
Right. We have Gabby.
Yes.
We have Gabby Cornelio, who has written a lovely book called My Brother Doesn't Speak, But His Heart Does. This I like it because it has that sibling experience, which it's always good to raise awareness and to center our people with Williams syndrome. But it's also important to remember those that are growing up with them and how how that changes or how that affects the family dynamic.
Yeah.
Would you say that? Like, do you see that in your in your other daughter?
Well, not with each other. Not with each other, for sure.
Well, sure. They're also at that age too.
And they're sisters. So that's what I'm learning, because I grew up with a brother, and so we didn't have the sister dynamic. And a sister dynamic is like, whoo. Anybody who has sisters, they know what I'm talking about. But I do see Greer being more empathetic and just more interested in disability, right? Like when you are affected by disability, you're drawn to different things. And so one of the things that they have at Stella's school is something called Unified Pals. It's like a club where typical people are in a club with people with disabilities, and they learn about the disability movement and about different disabilities. And Greer single-handedly is bringing all the 6th graders that she can to this club. And it's like, if she didn't have a sister with a disability, right? Like that wouldn't be something that was touching her or part of her. Yeah. So I still have faith. I have faith that one day they're going to have like the greatest relationship. Mm-hmm. And I know she'll be Stella's like biggest advocate.
Yeah.
Right now, not there.
I have an older sister, so it's a bit different.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. My sister Sarah's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Disability Book Week is coming up in April. And so I know that especially parents are always looking for books about Williams syndrome. This is like another one that people can add to their library. So
mm-hmm. Yeah, it just came out last October. So that's also very exciting. And then Charlie Calhoun.
Yeah.
Charlie, my boy.
Another buddy of Brendan's. How long have you guys known each other?
Around 20 years or so.
Everybody's 20 years. 20 years was 20 years ago, Brendan was just amassing friends.
Well, I mean, if it wasn't for Best Buddy.
He Leos and then keeps them all.
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for Best Buddies, getting involved in that, which Charlie has just celebrated 20 years of, our paths would have never crossed, so. And I met him at one of the leadership conferences out in Indiana, and then we became friends. Yeah.
Yeah, I love all the friendships that you have in the Williams syndrome community. It gives me like a lot of hope for Stella. Stella's not as friendly, but
Well, what's good, Brendan, is you make the effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sounds like your friends also make the effort. Keeping friendships does take a little bit of work, and
it does. It.
Especially when you're not like living when you don't live in the same, even in the same city.
Right. It can't be one-sided, It's gotta be 50-50 or equal or mutual or whatever,
That is probably something that you do really well. I don't know if like just people with Williams syndrome in general do that well. I don't do that well. I'm not like, I love my friends, but I'm not an initiator. That's why I always say I'm not initiator of things. So like if you ask me to do something, then I'm like, sure. But I'm like in my own brain, and not that I'm not thinking about people, but that is not my strength. My strength is not connection.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
No, your strength is not the initiation of the connection.
There you go. There you go.
I'm often the same way. I have a very hard time initiating that get together. They reach out and like, hey, let's go grab a beer. I'm like, done. That sounds awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah. But I always feel like, even though they're like my really good friends, I feel like I'm imposing. Hey, you want to go get a beer? And I'm like if I ask that, I'm like, would that be something you might be interested in maybe wanting to do?
Yes. Yes.
And my voice gets really high, and who wants to hang out with that?
Yes. I would.
Well, but that's because you're Brendan. That's because you are good at these things.
I try. I'm only me. I do what I can. I love the people that I love.
Well, let's jump into it, shall we?
Yeah. Let's go.
All right. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. Well, hola, Gabby. How are you?
Hi, good, thank you.
Good.
And you?
I'm great. So for those who don't know who you are, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to have me here with you guys. My name is Gabby. So my first name is Diana, but I go by Gabby. I'm Gabby Cornelio. And I have a son with Williams syndrome. He is 4 now. And I have 2 other kids. I have my daughter, Abby. She's 10. She's going to be 10. And my son is going to be 8 and in February. His name is Mahondre too. So I have 3 kids. I'm a busy mom.
Yeah, very, very much so. And you've written a book. You've written an awesome kids book. My brother doesn't speak, but his heart does. Now, we were talking about this just before we started the interview. Did you write this book in Spanish first?
Yeah, so my first language is Spanish. I'm from Mexico and I moved here like 14, 15 years ago. And I learned English. I went to school, but then I forgot because I didn't practice. But because of my son Moroni, the boy with Williams syndrome, I needed to get out of my comfort zone and I needed to have a voice for my son. So even though English is not my first language and I don't feel as secure, or when I speak Spanish, I'm like, oh, this is my jam. I can talk. But in English, it's not the same thing. So I tried because I needed to. So I had to use my voice to ask for the things my son needed. So now I'm not shy. I just speak, even though sometimes I get mistakes. I always try to express what I feel and think, and I want for my son. So my son helped me to learn more English and be more, it's not secure. How do you say when you're like
confident?
Confident. Yes, okay. More confident. That was the word, more confident. So I really don't care how I sound, as long as I request when my son needed, it's okay. So I created my book in Spanish. So the Spanish version has rhymes. So I needed to do in English too with rhymes. So that was a challenge.
Oh,
it was a challenge. I asked for help for friends, and I asked for so many people that speak both languages to have the same meaning on English and Spanish, but also the rhyming. A few word changes, because, for example, there is one part in the book where it says that Moroni, he doesn't speak and he's making like sounds because he just makes sounds. Right. And on the Spanish version, it says, is it a lion or a shark? And then on the English version, it says an airplane. So we try to make examples of sounds so it's not the same on that part. But I try to do that. Yeah.
That's fascinating. Oh, yeah. Wow. That what a challenge. What a fun and frustrating and exciting challenge. One of the things we were talking about earlier before you came on, obviously we love anything that brings awareness to Williams syndrome, but the fact that, this also has to deal with the sibling experience, and what it's like being a kid when one of your siblings has a rare or any kind of disability, but in our case, a rare developmental disability. How does all that work with them? How are they doing?
So the book actually was inspired by the two of my kids. So my oldest that doesn't have Williams syndrome with the youngest. So their names are almost the same. One is Mahonri, and then the other one is Moroni. On the book is Mao and Momo, so I had to shorten that. So Mao and Momo. Mao is the oldest, and Momo is the boy with Williams syndrome. And the story is about their life. It's like everything is a real life story. Because my son, my oldest, he always asks me, Mom, why Moroni is different? Why he's like that? And I try to explain, like I try to say, hey, so Moroni is missing some genes, but I try to make it so my child can understand that. But sometimes he doesn't, even though I try everything, he quite doesn't understand why his son is, his siblings, his brother is different. So that's one part of the book when we introduce our story. He says, oh, I asked my mom again and again why my brother is like this. And also, I think what is inspiring me the most to write this book is about the love. I'm just grateful of how my Abby and Mahonre, my two younger, oldest, my two, how do you say it?
Hey, that's all good.
My two oldest kids.
Your two oldest kids. Yeah.
My two oldest, sorry. My two oldest kids, children, I'm just grateful of the love they show to Moroni because they are just so kind and so patient. There are two occasions that I write in the book where my son Maonri was wishing, like I think it was a cake, and then he was wishing. Maybe it was his birthday, and he was wishing, and he closed the eyes, and he was like wishing something. And I said, oh, what are you wishing? I thought it was money because he's always like, oh, I want money, I want presents. So I asked, are you asking for money? And he's like, he looks at me and he's like, I cannot believe what you're asking. I'm like, what are you asking? Mom, I'm wishing so Moroni and I can talk. And I was like, wow, like you're wishing that? Yeah, I want to be able to talk with Moroni. And that touched me so much. And then one time also we were outside, and this part I didn't write in the book, but we were outside looking at the stars. And then Maundri told me, Mom, do you know you can make a wish on a star? And I said, okay, let's make a wish. And then he was also closing the eyes, like begging something. And I thought again, oh, you want money? And he's like, you still don't understand, Mom? I'm wishing so I can be able to talk with Moroni and Moroni can talk to me. So those experiences where I get to know what is in my son's heart, it's just so touching. It's just like, wow, how can a boy can have so much empathy and love to another person, and this is the brother. So that was what inspires me to write the story, and also how my son, he's he's 7, he's still a boy, and he wants things, but Moroni always asks for his things, and whatever Maonri has, Moroni wants it. And I'm just shocked how Maonri is so kind, and he's like, here, you can have it. And it's just that kindness and love that was so inspiring. And how even though Moroni doesn't talk because he's barely starting to say in words, even though he's 4, he's so delayed he has so many issues with the mouth, tongue. I mean, feeding, it was a challenge. He just barely, I think maybe 8 months ago, he just barely how to chew. He couldn't chew. I mean, until last year, it's a struggle for him to use the mouth. And then he makes sounds like he yells. He gets so angry because we cannot understand him. And we are using sign language too. So we're trying to use leche more, and all those signs that he uses. So so the story is about how we as a family and the siblings can communicate with Moroni, can have more empathy, patience, perseverance, and we all work hard to help Moroni say words, and we all celebrate whenever he says something. My two other kids, they are so excited as me. I think they have seen so many things that Moroni has been gone through in his life that I, as a mom, I know that everything is a miracle because he's just, everything he's doing is just so amazing. And I can see the little blessings and miracles every single day. But I am an adult, but they are kids. And one day, this is just recently, Abby was eating grapes, and then Moroni grabbed a grape, and we were like, we know. So my kids know. Abby was looking at him, and I was just looking at him to see like he's gonna throw it away. And then he put the grape, and then he started to chew, and then swallow the grape, grab another one, and Abby was like, Mom, look at that. So she was so excited. So, I mean, for me, that just like, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm so grateful that I get to see how my other kids can open their eyes and see the miracles. So yeah.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely.
I think sometimes we, like as a parents, we don't know. I mean, I didn't know what to do when I first received my son's diagnosis. The diagnosis.
Yeah.
So it was a challenge. It was like, oh, I have no idea what is happening. But I think one thing that helped me a lot is because I found a group on Facebook that it was for kids with Williams syndrome. So we really need other people that has gone beyond, like you guys, that you have a son that is 13. So, I mean, you know more things than me because you have now a teenager. I have no idea how my son will turn out and how will he be able to communicate and his behavior. I don't know what his behavior will be when he's a teenager. So I don't know if you can share an experience about that.
Yeah, we've had to just work really hard. You know, we're going through puberty, working with him and talking and being sometimes very explicit about what is going on with his body and what are the things that he's feeling, what's appropriate. Nothing that he's feeling is wrong. It's just keeping him and keeping others safe. But it's really exciting. It's watching him learn how to navigate the world, watching him become more and more independent. And it has been just incredibly exciting.
So I stopped working because I was like a full-time job. Like I was posting and posting. And since I was pregnant, I wasn't feeling right, but I didn't know that Moroni had Williams syndrome. So I found out that he had a heart issue and the intestine was not connected. So that's the only thing I knew. And we find out that he had Williams syndrome when he was 5 months old because of the heart issue. He needed to go to have an open heart surgery at 4 months. So the only thing that caused that issue was Williams syndrome. And then finally, when the cardiologist told me this is Williams syndrome, I feel a relief.
Yeah.
Because finally, I knew what was going on with my son because Moroni suffered a lot. I
mean, I wasn't diagnosed with Williams syndrome until I was almost 13.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I was misdiagnosed with ADHD and put on Ritalin and all this other medication. And then I had, and back in the day, testing and knowledge about Williams syndrome, there wasn't in the early 2000s and things like that. So I did the FISH test, and then I was properly diagnosed. It's been a real interesting journey. I had 4 hernia surgeries before the age of 2. I had a floppy heart valve and heart issues when I was 16. But I'm in a good place now. So yeah.
I mean, I think hearing your story and just watching you, for me, every time that I get to meet a person with a disability, with a syndrome, whatever, I mean, anything. And when I see you, you just bring me hope because as a mom, I want my son to be able to overcome everything and to be able to be independent, to be able to talk, to communicate. And when I see kids, children, and people with Williams syndrome, for me, it's just hope. Brings me so much joy that, as you, my son can also thrive and have a normal life, to talk and be able to have friends. So thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. And the thing for me is I learned that my disability doesn't define me. I've always been the person to be you can do anything if you put your mind to it. And he will. able to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we are coming to the end of our time. Where can people like reach out to you? Where can people find you? Where can people find the book?
Yeah, so my book is in Amazon all over the world, and also on every library online. You can find the book. Yeah, I have the version in Spanish and English. My brother doesn't speak, but his heart does. Mi hermano no habla, pero su corazón sí, in Spanish. And also, I have the story for my daughter. There is another story, but I have to make the illustrations, so that's gonna take time. But I plan to finish maybe by the end of March. I have another book that it's gonna be called something like My Brother Makes Me Angry, but I don't know. We'll see. Because this is about how my daughter gets so angry because Moroni destroys everything. And how she's able to learn that love and forgiveness is better for his heart than being angry. And the book speaks about patience too. And also I'm writing my own book that I planning on finishing this month or February. This book is called Touched by Heavens. And this book is about how God has helped me on my journey with my son with Williams syndrome. So that's the book. And I talk about so many blessings and how was I guided by God to make decisions for him and how he gave me the strength to overcome the challenges. So that's what I'm doing.
Well, you are a total underachiever. I would like you to not be so lazy. Maybe take on a few more things. I don't think you're busy enough. No, that's really wonderful. The last thing I was going to say is you've been so gracious with this interview. As you said, English is not your first language. What would you like to say to other Spanish-speaking families? What would you like to say to? Yes, please. I would love that.
Please.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me say it in Spanish.
Yeah.
Hola, familias que están viendo este video. Yo solamente quiero animarlos a que sigan luchando por sus pequeños o sus jóvenes, sus adultos. Realmente yo puedo decir que mi vida es más hermosa con mi niño con síndrome de Williams. Creo que el síndrome de Williams es una virtud para mí, ya que mi hijo nos ha hecho una familia totalmente distinta. Para nosotros, Moroni nos ha ayudado a tener más paciencia, más amor, más unidad, más fortaleza. Entonces veamos este síndrome como una oportunidad para crecer como familia. Yo sé que si ustedes se esfuerzan y luchan por ellos, la satisfacción y el gozo siempre va a llegar. Pero cuando yo he visto que todo lo que yo hago, veo las bendiciones o el milagro, digo, wow, valió la pena y siempre va a valer la pena. Ellos nos necesitan, entonces es nuestra responsabilidad de luchar por ellos. Si ustedes pueden, tienen las virtudes, los talentos, son hijos de Dios y Dios les va a colmar de poder, de fuerza para vencer todo. And that's it.
I caught like four words, but my God, that was beautiful. That was so great. I love it. Well, Gabby, this has just been an absolute treat. I'm so happy that we were able to make this work. And you're just a delight. I wish you nothing but the best of luck. I hope people get a chance to read it in whatever language that they choose.
Can I add something else? So when I finished the book, I gave one to the school. And then the principal, Moroni goes to the School of the Deaf because of the hard of hearing.
Sure.
And then the teacher told me, the name of the book is because of the Moroni signing. And I was like, no, I don't know what is Moroni signing. You don't know what Moroni signing means? And I said, no, I have no idea. So the sign name for Moroni is the M and then the heart. So you put the M on the heart, and then the heart, like the M just opens. So this is the sign for Moroni. And then she told me, I thought you put the name of the title of the book because of Moroni's signing. Because Moroni's signing is from your heart, Moroni. From the heart, just gives everything. Even though he doesn't talk, he just with his heart, he gives so much.
He doesn't speak, but his heart.
When she told me that, I was like, what? Wow. So it's just something that I love. I'm like, wow. Yeah.
That's spectacular. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so very much. Just a delight to have you on. And
thank you.
Yeah, can't wait to see everything that you put together in the future. It's gonna be great.
Thank you so much, guys, for the time and for the opportunity to talk to you.
How are you, Mr. Charlie?
I've been doing good, hanging in there.
Good, good, good. Well, for those who don't or may not know who you are, why don't you introduce yourself, then tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Hey guys, what's happening? So everybody who doesn't know me and those who do know me, my name is Charles Calhoun. I was born in Providence, Rhode Island. I am a self-taught drummer. I learned by myself. I didn't learn from any paper. I did Special Olympics as well. I won 5 state championships, and I'm a speaker for a non-profit organization called Best Buddies, and I've traveled the world.
Yeah, doing big things, man.
Yep. And I've been involved with Best Buddies for 21 years now.
Yeah.
Years. Brendan was saying that he has known you for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've known each other forever.
Forever, dude. Yeah.
Do you remember how you guys met?
Oh my gosh. Was it in Boston we ran into each other?
Either that or is that one of the LCs?
I think it was LC. Yeah, it was LC when I ran into you.
Yeah. And then we formed a friendship there, and then we painted the town red at the events and stuff, and have been best friends ever since then. Yeah.
Yeah, that was, I believe, 2011 was the first one I went to.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, 2011. Yep, we met 2011.
Okay, that's cool. So are you from Rhode Island originally?
I was born and raised, yes.
Okay, yeah, I have always wanted to go to Rhode Island. It's like one place that I've never been to, and actually like that Rhode Island, Maine area, that's like in my brain, that's where I want to spend like my summertime because it looks amazing.
Go either during the summer or the fall. You will love it during the fall.
Yeah.
I heard. So how do you like living in Rhode Island? How was growing up there and having Williams syndrome? Was it a good place to grow up or was it hard?
It was, to be honest, it was very hard. I couldn't make any friends out there, and it was just really hard trying to find where I fit in, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How so for you?
For like me, it was hard for me to communicate or like I said, just trying to fit in, trying to find friends out there. And it was just really hard for me, and I couldn't out there.
Yeah. How old were you when you were diagnosed with Williams syndrome?
Ever since I was born, I grew up with it, actually.
Okay. So it was like always a part of your life.
Yes.
Yeah, my daughter Stella, who has Williams syndrome, is 14, and so she's going into high school next year, and it's really interesting to see the journey, right, and how different it is, like versus elementary school, and now she's in middle.
Oh yeah,
and the thought of her going into high school. We keep saying, like, you just got to get through high school. You just...
Absolutely, because it's scary, especially for a parent who has someone with Williams syndrome.
Yeah.
Because, like, you don't know what's going to happen during high school, you know? So just make the best of what you can of it.
Yeah. Did you have good friends in high school?
I had some good friends. I didn't connect with a lot of them. That was on a different issue, but yeah, I did connect with a few here and there.
Yeah, and then what have you been doing? You've been out of high school for a while. Are you and Brendan the same age? How old are you?
I am 37, going to be 38 in April.
Yeah, you guys are.
Yeah, I'll be 38 in August. So.
Okay, that makes sense. So you've been out of school for a long time. So like, tell us what you've been doing like post high school. What have you been doing all these years after?
So after high school, I graduated in 2009. I worked for a grocery store for 6.5 years, and I quit that job for a bank job, and I've been there for 12 years.
Okay, bank job. Tell me about that.
So my friend was looking for someone to get hired. I was like, I don't know. I'm not really big into the bank thing. I know nothing about banks.
But you worked there for 12 years?
But I've worked there for 12 years. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
What kind of stuff do you do at the bank?
So when I very first started, I was scanning and sorting out packages, making sure all the numbers are correct from the scanner to the paper. And then I would go deliver that in the front office. And then after that, they had me doing computer work.
Oh.
And then from there, I just kept moving forward.
Okay, and what do you do now?
I'm doing everything from computer work. I'm fixing office supplies. I am stocking copiers, making sure there's all backstock needed.
Yeah. That's such a, a lot of times like we hear people with disabilities and like people with disabilities working is like it's really interesting topic that I like to talk about. And most of the people that we have interviewed do have jobs, but you're the first one that I think we've interviewed that has more of like an administrative type of role. And so I guess I never thought like a bank would be something that, our community would be interested in, but you're enjoying it.
I am. Yeah. The people are wonderful.
Wait, yeah. And how many hours a week do you work?
I work 20 hours a week. Monday through Thursday, I'm in office, and Friday, I work from home.
Friday is your leisure day?
Yep.
And you also pair that with Best Buddies speaking work, correct?
That is correct. Yes, I have traveled. I went from speaking to high schools to speaking in front of 20,000 people in the auditorium at LC, which he was there as well.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
So what is LC?
Leadership Conference?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's LC stands for Leadership Conference, and it's through Best Buddies, and it's at Indiana University.
In
Bloomington, Indiana. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, that's fascinating. How did you get involved with Best Buddies?
I've been involved with them since 2004. So I was passing by. I wasn't interested at all. I knew nothing about it, was not interested. And then I was sitting at a table by myself, and this guy wanted to talk to me, and I wanted nothing to do with him. I didn't know this guy, so I don't know why he was talking to me. So he's like, listen, I know what you're going through. Like, I told him my story, and he goes, I know what you're going through, man. So, like, we started talking, having a good conversation, and then he's like, I know you've been passing by those posters because they were Best Buddies posters. And he's like, give it a chance. See what happens. So I went in, and this was during 2004 at my high school. And I had a big mental breakdown in one of the classrooms that I was in, and someone came up to me and said it was okay. And then from there, like, I got to know everybody from Best Buddies, so I've been involved with them ever since.
Oh my gosh, that's wonderful. So did it start out like Best Buddies at like your high school?
Yes, Best Buddies started out at my high school.
Okay, and were you matched with like somebody, like people who were typical, who were like your friends?
Yeah, we did. That was the first event. Actually, we had a ice cream social, and I got matched up with somebody.
Yeah. And then how has it evolved over the years for you? Because 20 years later, you are still doing stuff, but I'm sure it's not the same.
Yeah, 21 years later, I never thought from like 2004 to like 2024 that I'd be even involved with such an organization for 21 years. It went from me going to high school to me traveling the world later on.
Yeah. When did you start traveling and speaking for Best Buddies? Do you remember?
Oh my gosh, it's been years. I think since 2000, after I got 09 there. Yeah, since 2011, actually.
Okay, so it's pretty quickly that you started like speaking for Best Buddies. That's super cool. And what does your work consist of today now? Do you still like speak? Do you go to the events?
I go to a lot of the Best Buddies events.
Cool. Yeah, that's amazing. And are you still doing Special Olympics?
I have not done it in years. I'm thinking of getting back into it, but I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, I think Brendan still does it, right?
Yep. I generally do it mostly in the summer. Swimming and golf.
I never expected you to be a golfer.
Well, my stepfather was a pro back in the day, and when my mom got remarried with him, we started on our own golf journey, and then it evolved into Special Olympics, our local, state having golf, and then me getting involved in that, and then him being, my trainer, so to speak, with our coach and helping out everyone on the team. And we golf it out. We do good stuff. Yeah.
That is amazing. Right on.
Are you like a state champion golfer or something?
I do have a gold medal in golf for skills competition, not the alternate shot. But Yeah, skills competition is my jam.
So, Charlie, what is your involvement now, like with the Williams syndrome community?
I actually went to my very first event actually in July.
Oh, really?
Yep, the Williams Syndrome Convention in Phoenix, Arizona. I was there.
That was your first one.
That was
Yeah.
my very first one.
Oh, and what did you think? It's so fun.
I thought it was hot outside.
Yeah,
a lot of people are like messaging me. I'm like, oh my God, it's so hot out here. But like, it was the coolest thing I've ever seen, you know, because like I do a lot of events for other different companies and stuff. But like when a lot of rumors were saying that the Williams Syndrome Convention is coming to Arizona, I'm like, I gotta go. Like, this is my very first one. I got to see what it was like. So it was really cool.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Like when we saw each other, you were like, "No, you're here." I was like, "No, you're here."
Yeah, pretty much. Like
And
we
then we
ran
ran
into
into each other and gave each other a big hug. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, now it's a party."
Yep, that's my brother. I'm
Yep.
like, that's my brother for sure. Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
So are you thinking now that you've been to your first, like, will you go to Buffalo? Because that's pretty close to you.
I will be in Buffalo.
That one's going to be fun and less hot.
Oh yeah.
It'll be lovely.
What was it? Like we out here when I was looking at the weather thing on there, it said of like 118 out here.
Yeah, it was balmy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was.
First Stella, my daughter, she said it's hot as hell. That
Yeah.
she thought of.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, she's not lying.
I was like, well, I mean, technically it's fairly accurate, so I can't bust her, right? It was very
I'd
hot.
say it was hotter than Hades.
Yes. But you had a good time. What was like a surprising part about convention for you? Was there anything that you weren't expecting?
Like, I didn't know there was that many people with Williams syndrome, just like me and him. And it was like,
Yeah.
oh, what? Because like, I wasn't
Oh.
expecting like all those people there. It's like, holy cow.
Yeah.
And,
But this
and
is a bad thing because like sometimes that can be overwhelming.
it was high for a first timer for me. It was absolutely nerve wracking, highly overwhelming.
Yeah.
People were just running up to you, giving you hugs and saying hi and stuff. And I was like, I was not expecting it, but I just thought the whole convention itself was really awesome.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
was your favorite thing that you did activity wise?
Oh, activity wise, I like the Phoenix Science Center and the Instrument Museum. That was really awesome.
Yeah, that was really, really cool. My parents and I, after the convention, we went to the music museum, and we got to like have our own time and do stuff, and it was really, really cool.
Yeah. You didn't go with everybody else, right? Because you were volunteering.
Yes, I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off most of the convention.
Yeah, he was. He was one place to another. It's like, hi, bye.
Bye. Got stuff to do. Bye.
Yeah. It is the conventions are so great. Did you come with anybody to convention or did you come by yourself?
I actually brought my mom.
Okay. And
Yep.
what was her reaction?
She was really surprised and absolutely amazed by it.
Yeah. It's really like a special experience for parents. I mean, for everybody, but you know, for me, our first convention was Stella. My daughter wasn't diagnosed until she was 5. And it was like right after she was diagnosed that we came, and it's like, it's cool, but overwhelming to see so many people that are like one another. I mean, you're all
Oh,
different,
absolutely.
but you're very similar.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
my first full convention was Baltimore, and I was like, whoa, whoa, like take a step back there, simmer down. Like, all right, I gotta go outside and just take a moment for
You
myself.
got to take a moment and a deep breath and breathe it all in. Like,
'Cause
okay,
dang.
I'm good to go.
'Cause
I mean,
dang.
I think Brendan and I took 2 pictures together during convention, and both pictures we have beers.
Yeah. Yep.
That is also like a way to describe. It's very fun, but also like you need a beer at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, exactly. Did you meet a lot of new friends then? Like, how has your experience been like after convention? Because I'm always so curious. Like, you guys are together for a week. you are with your community, right? People who share something that not everybody, shares. Did you
Yeah,
play with a lot of friends after?
I did. Yeah, we caught up actually after the convention.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's really good. Like when you meet somebody, you really want to keep that friendship close.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's always been my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so now what do you do for fun? Like what's besides working, because it sounds like you've got a couple of things that keep you pretty busy. Like what other things do you like to do?
I listen to a lot of music. I watch a lot of movies.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
We were just
Yeah.
talking about music earlier. We were talking about a band that you wish that you could have seen, like when they were alive, like a person. Like I said, Whitney
Mhm.
Houston. She's, passed away, but I would have loved to have seen her, and I didn't get a chance to see her.
Yeah.
Do you have anybody like that you would have loved to have seen that you missed?
Surprisingly, there's two bands I actually performed with that their lead singers passed away.
Okay, tell us about that.
Linkin Park and Smash Mouth.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's right.
Yeah, so you performed with them.
I did. I performed on stage with Chester Bennington and I performed on stage with Smash Mouth in
Oh my God.
California.
Really?
Right.
How did those come to be? How did those take shape?
So there was this girl, Leticia, and she was an auctioneer and she came to Arizona to meet me. And I had no idea this was going to happen. So, like, we started talking. She asked me who was one of your favorite bands. I said, Linkin Park. I love their albums. I know all their songs. So she goes, in 3 weeks, meet me in Surprise, Arizona. So I went to Surprise, Arizona, and I saw all these Linkin Park pictures, posters, things like that. And I'm like, this has to be a joke. Because like someone doesn't tell you 3 weeks, go to this place. You know what I'm saying? And then like there's
Right.
a whole bunch of band posters and stuff. And it's like, so I go there and she asks me to be her assistant for the night. So I was helping her out. And she goes, if you think I'm joking, take a look behind you.
Oh,
So I look behind me and it's Chester Bennington and the whole band of Linkin Park.
whoa.
Oh, sick, dude.
That's pretty
Dude,
cool.
I was like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. No way this is real. So so I was just there, right? And like Chester brings me to the stage to like where like all the instruments and like all the stuff they play is on there. So I was like, okay, cool.
Whoa.
So I'm just chilling there, and then I go into the crowd where like everybody is, and Chester goes, we have a very special guest that we want him put on front. So I go to the front and he pulls me on stage.
Cool.
So
I was
cool.
like, he could have chosen anybody that night to be on stage, but he chose me to actually sing a song with him, which was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I was wondering, so you sang, you didn't play an instrument?
No, I sang with him.
Okay, that's cool. Are you a singer? Because you said you were a drummer.
I don't sing much, but like I'm more of a drummer than a singer. But when it comes to like bands like that, you don't say no
Right.
because
No.
you'll never get that chance again.
Yeah.
That is very true. Dude, that's super cool. And how did the Smash Mouth one come about?
So we were in California and it's a Best Buddies event.
Right.
Okay.
And like we heard that Smash Mouth was going to be there. And I was like, this is awesome. So we were just walking around like the tents and stuff like that, looking around. I'm like, hey, is that Smash Mouth over there? And they're like, come here, come here, come here. So I got to talk to them. I got some stuff signed by them, and I sang, "Hey now, you're a rock star," and I got to play that song with them live.
That's cool. Well, not many people have the opportunity to do that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's like two of the craziest. Like you never expect something to happen when a band comes out, or like somebody passes by you. You're like, did that just really happen? Moment.
Right. Right.
Ah.
What do you think of the new Linkin Park stuff?
I haven't heard their new stuff yet, to be honest.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's really, I think it's good. I like it. It's some of the most of their songs on the new album with the new spin.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's different because it's a female singer now. And
Yeah.
but I personally, I think, there's not a lot of female representation in that genre of music these days.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think it's pretty cool. And I get it. Some of the, Linkin Park fans are diehard Linkin Park fans, and they have their opinions.
Right.
But and that's fine. But you got to give people a chance.
Exactly. It's like with Joey Jordison from Slipknot when he passed away. They were getting new drummers every year to see who would fit into the band.
Yep. And then Jay Weinberg, and now
the supported Best Buddies. Yep.
Right. Yep. And then the new drummer now,
Eloy. I can't say
Eloy
it.
Casagrande,
I don't know.
Thank you.
Eloy Casagrande. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yep, I had a brain fart there for a second. Sorry.
Hey, we all get it. It's all good. It's like Oh, that's it.
Yep.
You guys are speaking a language that I know nothing about. You are this is like what I think of when I think about like your musical love. Like you guys, you're like 4 drummers in, and you know all the drummers.
Yep.
That's
Slipknot's been a band I've idolized since I was like 12 years old.
Yeah. So you said you also did like movies, right?
I do, yes.
Yeah. So like what kind of movies?
I'm big on action, suspense, comedy, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not like watching Westerns from like the olden yesteryear?
I like some Westerns too. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Okay, cool. Is that like a similar love? Like, do you have the passion for those like you do for music, or it's just like something you do in your free time?
No, I grew up on like VHSs and stuff like that. So it's like every time I see a movie, it's like I remember when that first came out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so true. And I find myself now, I'm a little bit older than you, Charlie, but I find myself just wanting to watch old movies. I don't even like want to watch like
the newest stuff that came out. It's like bring the old movies back.
I know.
Right. Yeah. I always say like nothing is better than the original.
Exactly. There's nothing beats an original.
Yeah.
I mean, you could try to duplicate it over and over and over and over and over, and it's just not the same as an original.
Right. Remakes can try.
They fail all the time.
But that.
Yeah.
Well, Charlie, as we wrap up our time together, is there anything that you want to share with this community? That's a lot of families who listen, a lot of individuals with Williams syndrome who listen, a lot of people who might be new to the Williams syndrome community. Like they might be working with somebody with Williams syndrome. Like this is your time. Share what's on your heart, my friend.
I'm really honored and blessed that you guys chose me to be a part of this. I really love it. Thank you very much. For anybody who's listening who does have someone with Williams syndrome, definitely look into the events and whatever's coming out.
Yeah.
It's definitely a big hit for sure. And anybody who has Williams syndrome and doesn't know much about it, definitely look it up for sure. That way you know, or if someone asks, you could definitely explain it a lot more to them. And definitely go to a lot of the events. It's worth it.
Yeah. Where can people find you?
Facebook, Instagram, and I pretty much Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah. Under the same name. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
I love that so much. Charlie, I'm excited to meet you in Buffalo.
Absolutely. It'd be my honor.
Yeah.
It'd be my honor. Hopefully, last convention, it was too hot. My person was unhappy. She really struggled. So I didn't get out as much as I normally do, but Buffalo, it's on.
Where are you guys at?
I'm in Colorado.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's definitely cold out there.
Yes. Right now it's real cold. And Brendan's in Connecticut and Joel's in Minnesota.
Yep.
All cold.
Oh, is it cold for you right now?
It's been in the 40s in the morning, 40s, 30s.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been negatives here. So I'm ready for some warm weather. I think Phoenix sounds great right now.
I know what it's like being in the negative. Rhode Island one time hit nearly -0.
Ooh, yeah, that's no good. And with the wet, like with the water being right there, right? Because you're close to the water, it would be real cold.
Oh, highly cold.
Yeah, I'm not as interested in that for sure. Oh, well, thank you for coming on. It was so good to meet you.
It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you guys for having me on.
This has been the Starry-Eyed Podcast, presented by the Williams Syndrome Association. The show is hosted by Jennifer Keaton and Brendan Lemieux, and produced by me, Joel Listman. Theme song by Tommy Barbarella and Mariella Elm. Got a question for the show? Email us at podcast@williams-syndrome.org or message us at the Starry-Eyed Podcast page on Facebook. Video version of the podcast available on the Williams Syndrome Association channel on YouTube or on Facebook. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or comment on the video version and maybe it will be featured on a future episode. Make sure to like and subscribe to the Starry-Eyed Podcast wherever you get your podcast delights.